Hey there, it's Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna be doing a makeup look today. It's been a hot minute since I've filmed any kind of get ready with me kind of makeup look onto my channel. So I'm gonna be showing a look that I've actually been really into lately. I've done it a couple of times. This is kind of like my daytime glitter look. Few new things, mainly the star of the show are these guys, the Milani Hypnotic Lights Holographic Eye Toppers. I think these are like semi-new. I think they've been out for a year. I don't know, but I was just killing time in my local CVS, waiting for a prescription to get filled, and I stumbled across these, and I was like, what are these beautiful, majestic things? It was like buy two get one free, so I bought 3 out of the 4 that I think exist. So there's Starlight, Prismatic Light, and Luster Light, and Luster Light's the one that I'm going to be using today. They're kind of like what I wanted the Glossier lid stars to be. They're like a more sheer version of the Stila Glitter and Glow. They can be built up, but I like them a little bit more sheared out, and I really like a good kind of like shimmery sparkle, especially one that is holographic. So I'm going to be using a mix of some newer products and some old loves that I have, and this is something I've got in relatively new-ish. I've had it for a couple of weeks, and it's the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. Excited to see that Kosas has finally come to Sephora. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I knew it. They just kind of seem like a good fit for Sephora because they are just, well, they're so sleek. If you know anything about Kosas, they're just very sleek with their packaging and their branding and their colors. They don't have a huge range, but they've been slowly expanding, so it'll be cool to see what else they come out with. This is their newest thing. They do have some like limited edition like lip and cheek products that are out right now as well that look really great. I'll link the marketing video for it. It's quite lovely, actually. I think it's like Phoenix or something is the color. Anyways, I'll link that. Now, the other day I did wear this with the Cover FX Dewy Skin Primer, and these just were not a good match. I've only worn the Dewy Skin Primer a couple of times, one with like a matter foundation, and it worked really well, but these two together did not work so well. It looked really beautiful for the first couple of hours, but then it just really broke apart. And this isn't a particularly long lasting kind of base in general, so this just like did not help that. So I'm gonna use something that has worked pretty well for me in the past, and that is the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. I'm gonna use this as my primer. After I've applied it, make sure I go over it with my fingers, because I feel like these kind of things can get kind of pilly, and they like need the warmth of fingers to like really make sure it goes in. This will actually be a great indication today of how well this foundation covers, for those of you that are interested in it, because I have a lot of redness today and quite a bit of breakouts going on from just, well, life and hormones. So it is a tinted oil, so you'll see as I put it on my face how watery it is, and you gotta make sure you give it a good shake, because I believe it is like the pigments are like suspended in the different oils. So I'll put it on my face. You can see how extremely drippy it is, but it actually has a surprising amount more of coverage. I went with tone 3. I probably could have gotten away with tone 1 or 2, but I have so many foundations that are lighter than me that I didn't want to get something else that like ends up looking like it sits on top of my face. And because it is a skin tint, you can kind of get away with something that's not 100% a match. So here, I zoomed in a little bit, so you can see that like I still have its skin poking through, like you can see breakouts and redness, and it's very breathable and quite hydrating feeling. Like I don't feel like my skin's tacky, it just feels hydrating. So I'm gonna put just like a little bit more on. It's semi-buildable. It's not like, say, like the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. I feel like that's a really solid light medium foundation that you can build pretty well. This builds just a little bit, so I am gonna also go in with a bit of concealer in the places that need some help. Use the Nars Soft Matte Concealer, and I'm gonna just like set it on the places that I want more coverage. And then I'm just gonna set it with like a little bit of powder. I am gonna use actually some more cream face products, but this is the Becca powder. I actually found that cream products lay decently over top of it. There was that cooling aspect to it that actually really didn't last, which was really strange. Like after a month, the cooling aspect was just gone. But just as like a nice fine powder, it still works. So I'm gonna do my eyebrows real quick. I'm gonna use the Hourglass Arch Brow and then a little bit of the Heimish Brow Gel. I had a rather unfortunate eyebrow accident. I flew a little too close to the sun. I use little like face razors to, you know, like deal with chin hairs and mustaches and extra hair that I have here. And I'm pretty good at using it. I've been using it for years, but there was a very poorly timed, very loud dog bark that made me just wipe away this last bit of my brows. So I'm gonna attempt to draw some of that back on. Well, this still looks really weird, so I'm not sure how the best to do that. Maybe I need to get like a pomade or something. I don't really have one that I like. I have this one from NYX, but it's like so dry, so I'm not really sure how to like fake that. So I might just be leaning my hair to one side more than the other. And of course it's like my good brow. Like this is the brow that has like the permanent weird arch that no matter what I do is always there, where I always kind of look suspicious. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna move on. I'm actually gonna warm up my skin a bit. I was gonna go into eyes, but I just kind of look like a glowing orb via the looking at the viewfinder. So I'm gonna warm up my face before I move on, just for my own sanity. So this I actually was gifted via Octoly and Clarins. It's the Glow to Go Duo. It's a blush and highlighter duo. I think this is new. There was 2 different colors to choose from on the Octoly store, and I went for this one because it looked kind of like a corally orange, which I have been definitely into. And it definitely blends out. Like it kind of starts out intense looking, but it really, as soon as you blend it, it gets a bit muted. So painting it on a little thick, and then I'm just gonna use, I don't even know what this brush is. The like handles are all worn away. Now the highlighter side is definitely, well, it's a bronze highlighter. It's a little bit, as you can see, it's quite bronzy, so that's how I'm using it. Grab something a little bit denser to blend that out with. I actually have this, I've used this I think in most of my tutorials. This is the brush that they would give you from Becoming Rouge. It's the Mini Flawless Airbrush brush, and I love this thing. And it has this nice density that I find it fantastic for not only just blending out foundation, but I find it great even more so for blending out cream blushes and bronzers and stuff. So I'm gonna use a bit of the Hollywood Flawless filter for my highlight. I'm not gonna do anything like too intense with my highlight because I am gonna be doing glitter on the eyes. So this is like kind of like the perfect amount of shimmer. Definitely gonna put a little bit more of it under the eye though, just to keep my eyes nice and bright. I'll just use the same same brush to blend that out so it kind of like sandwiches the different products together. So now onto the Milani Hypnotic Lights Holographic Eye Topper. Such long names for products these days. I think they look beautiful just dapped on and nice and like sheer. It looks really pretty. These two work really great for that. This one can get a tiny bit patchy, but having like a little bit of a base to play off of kind of just like gives them a bit of something else. So I want to play off of the kind of coppery tones that are in this. It's got like the pink holographic and different reflex, but it definitely, you can kind of see it has that coppery tone. So I'm gonna put on a brown eyeliner crayon. This is from Laura Geller. So I'm just really covering the whole lid with it. And then I'm just using kind of like a denser brush to then give it a good blend out. Nice thing about having a dual brush is being able to use the other side to clean up. So this is actually the dual-ended brush that comes with Naked palettes. It's one of the brushes I will take with me when I'm traveling because it's a good 2-in-1 situation. Just gonna take a touch of it on the lower lashes. I think because of the shape of my eyes, I have to be careful with how I blend my lower lash line, because if there's just like an area that goes a little bit farther down than the other, it makes me look so tired. So I'll often do the lower lash line and then go in with a bit of concealer to just like make sure I clean up. Especially in like photos of myself, it'll just make me really just like drags my whole face down. So that's also why I try to make sure I blend the part that goes on my under eye upwards. So I try and give it as much upward motion in the way that it looks as possible. I'm just gonna actually do just that. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of concealer before I go on with the glitter to clean this area up, just because I think post glitter I'll have the higher chance of just blending glitter into my under eye area. I've done this a couple of ways where I have just gone in with the applicator and then just gone in with the brush, but I think the best way to get the look I want is I'm just gonna put a little bit of it on my finger. White's talking in the background. It has been funny since moving. White's had all new things to bark at. If you aren't familiar with my channel, I have a dog named White. Actually, I have 2 dogs now. One is Lemon, she's a puppy, but he was pretty quiet the first few weeks we lived here. He couldn't really hear too much because of we now have walls that are plaster instead of drywall, and plaster is really great actually for densening sound, but his ears have definitely adapted in the last little bit. Also, we have all new animals living around us. We actually are having an issue with raccoons, I believe, living in the roof crawl space area, and then skunks actually living in the under part. So that has been an issue that we've been trying to deal with, and of course, since it's been rainy, they keep coming back even though we've like blocked off the under crawl spaces that they could get into. But they definitely like busted that through, and you can hear the raccoons above us, and you can hear the skunks. I've seen them go in and out via my window, just looking out sometimes, and the skunks have definitely sprayed while underneath us pretty heavily, which has been not so great. So it's really funny living in the Los Angeles area and dealing with skunks. And that was one of the things that we dealt with a lot where I grew up as a kid, because we lived on a farm, and we had skunks always breaking in and killing our chickens. So it's funny, I dealt with them in the farm way and now in the urban way. So I didn't really walk y'all through what I did, but pretty self-explanatory. I just been patting it on with my finger, working that on. And then I put the majority of the product on the lid, and then just the residue, just lightly dabbing upwards. Oh, and I just dabbed some right in the center of my face. I have like a little glitter unibrow now. I'm actually gonna deepen up my crease a little bit. I think I'm gonna use just this bronzer that I've been using for a mirror to do that. See if that is enough. Just with a tapered brush. I'm going back in with a little bit more of the Laura Geller pencil just up against the lash line. Taking a tiny bit more, but this time I put it on the brush just so I don't pick up anything with my finger. I feel like sometimes if I go back in with really any liquid eyeshadow, if I like do some sort of other blending and then go back in with my finger, I end up just kind of muddling things more. So just really lightly dabbing that on. So I'm gonna use the Milk Makeup KUSH mascara. I got the little mini, still going strong. So I did just a tiny bit more spot concealing because my redness is really showing through, or at least it looks that way looking up at the viewfinder. It's funny, looking at a mirror and looking at a viewfinder, it just looks completely different. Looking in the mirror, I feel like my makeup looks pretty dimensional, but looking in the viewfinder, I feel like I look super washed out. So it'll be interesting to see when I'm editing which one actually is translating, because it is dark out and I'm filming with a light because I don't really have often the ability to film during daylight now, especially since, you know, daylight is a very small amount of time. So usually I like to use a mix of light and sunlight or just sunlight. So anyways, what I'm getting at is I'm gonna put a little bit of bronzer on because I feel like here, camera wise, I look very, very washed out, but I'm sure doing this in person is now gonna like make me the mirror that I have next to me looks super orange. So we'll see. We'll see if this ends up being like an orange makeup tutorial. So I'm gonna line my lips with Marc Jacobs Prim Rose Lip Liner. This is pretty much my most used lip liner. I have Pillow Talk and I like it, but I keep going back to this one. Partially because I often am losing my sharpeners. So at this one you don't need a sharpener for. So that makes it win every time. I have been slowly expanding my Kosas collection. I have a few more of their lipsticks. I have Stardust here that I'm gonna put on. Undone was like probably my favorite lipstick of all of 2018. I love that lipstick. So I actually picked up a couple of them. I've never been so drawn to owning all of something than I have of the Kosas lipsticks. So if having like a lip swatch video is something that you're interested in, let me know, and then maybe I'll round out, because I'm only missing a couple of them. It seems a little excessive. Very up close finished face of the look. I'll get back as well, but I just wanted to show the skin from the foundation. I definitely have a variety of products on, and potentially some blending issues right here now that I see. Can't fully tell. My eyes are not so good. Definitely need to go get new glasses, but anyways. But also wanted to show the eye glitter closer. All right, well that is the whole thing of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. I guess give it a like, but also just let me know if you like these kinds of videos from me. I get oddly self-conscious about makeup videos, and yeah, it's just kind of less of a set thing to talk about than, say, giving like a review or like a product roundup kind of thing, where I can just talk ad nauseum about something. But when it comes to then doing the makeup part and applying it, I find myself just not really knowing what to say, and or saying something strange or doing something weird, and then also I end up filming for ages when doing this look in real time is like less than 10 minutes, but doing it on video, I end up like taking just ages, and then I'm editing this for ages. It ends up becoming like the longest thing. All right, anyways, you could care less about hearing about that part, but if you do enjoy these kinds of videos, let me actually know, and I'll try to do more of them. And if not, no worries. Never gonna stop doing roundup kind of review videos and like skincare related videos. It's probably my favorite thing to talk about. Not that makeup isn't one of my favorite things. It's all my favorite. That's why I film it, but I think I'll never stop doing that. That's kind of the base of my channel. Okay, I am just jamming along, so I'm gonna go, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.